And they're beginning to see that, you know, not every year can you have a revolution. You know, the biggest thing we have going on this year in Clark County is the fair booth. So it's not an exciting year to be a party worker bee. But I've seen many of them from both sides got elected to the state committee. And I think there's a reconciliation going on. I don't think this, you know, there's a bigger agenda now, and that is resist. We have a horrible, horrible person as president of the United States. He is a narcissistic personality disorder, and I have some basis of that. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in my day. I mean, this man is, it's just dangerous what he's doing and the people he's surrounding himself with. So I think that there will be a reconciliation. People will see that the battle is bigger than who can be the most pure on every issue. Yeah. Sure.
Question. For me, a lot of it is about the message that's being sent out. You know, a lot of times we have allowed the other side to label us as, you know, it's Obamacare, it's bad and evil, when it's the Affordable Care Act. It's, you know, yeah. We allow them to run us over with labels. We're the party that's anti-gun. We're pro-abortion. We're you know, no, we're smart gun control. We're for women's rights and choices.
Have you ever read George Lakoff?
I'm just saying, we have allowed the other party to put these labels on us, and I don't see us as an organization, as a party, fighting back to clear those and to set the record straight. Because I know a lot of people, I think John's onto something. We lost a lot of that blue collar because of the idea of, you know, Hillary's going to take all of our guns away. Same with Obama, they were going to take all the guns away. You know, here in Cowlitz County, well, heck, our Dean and Brian, they're both card-carrying members, and they, you know, they're supportive of, you know, the hunters' rights and everything. How do we redefine that message that's getting out there?
Well, one of the things we're doing at the National Party is that we created a rural caucus, which has grown. I was at the meeting in Phoenix, and there were like 150 people in this room from the, and they, you know, the issues you have to run on as a Democrat in Idaho are different than the issues you have to run on in Portland, Oregon.
Right.
So we have to have a broader outreach, and we have to be more tolerant. Not everybody. We have to tolerate people that are members of the NRA. We have to respect them. So I think there's at least a discussion that that's the direction we have to move in, because we're not going to win Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan unless we go after the more conservative amongst the Democratic base. Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to speak briefly on labor on this particular situation. This was a big issue in our state and a lot of other states. And if we look at two things that have happened that has affected labor, one was NAFTA, and that was a Democrat. TPP, which was another Democrat's position, that has split labor.
Yeah. Losing
jobs, family wage jobs. And if you look at what NAFTA has done and what TPP would have done, and this was branded to the Democrats, a lot of labor people were upset. Sure. And it led to this. So we cannot forget this. Even within labor, we have a split on these issues. So somehow we're going to have to get back together, and I'll leave it at that.
The State Labor Council refused to endorse Maria Cantwell and Patty Murray, primarily over TPP, I think. But one of the things that's looming out there is the bigger issue. This appointment to this, when Justice Scalia died, you all know that, that really prevented us becoming a nation of right to work. And it's back. It's back in this Supreme Court appointment. I'm a 41-year member, 46-year member of AFSCME. And once that new judge gets on the Supreme Court, I think public sector unions are basically they're gonna destroy them. And they're gonna make membership voluntary, no more mandatory dues paying. Or they make you go out and ask each member every year to pay their dues. That's an administrative nightmare to go out and ask that kind of thing. So, yeah, and interesting, on the DNC race, labor is split right down the middle. Half of them are for Ellison, half of them are for Perez.
I have a question right here.
Sure.
So, we know Ralph Nader gave us George W. I hadn't heard this 30% third party in those 3 states. We live in a world of smartphones and smart computers. Is there any thought of, I've heard the Green Party saying, well, we need you to vote, you've got to get to that critical mass so that our candidates, can't we tag up Green Party people in Wisconsin with Democrats in California?
They
They get the Green votes nationally, but they don't get the Republicans slipping through?
In most states, the Green Party and the Democratic Party do not get along at all. In New Mexico, for example, we lost congressional seats because of the Green Party. So there's a deep-seated anger with the Green Party. But, you know, most of the hardcore Democrats are older people.
Yeah.
So they're not nearly as savvy on social media. I say that about myself. I'm a technical dummy. I basically know how to use Facebook, but I don't know how to blast out to 5,000 people on Facebook. So, you know, part of it is technology. These people were able to organize on the ground in these states. Primarily the people were Jill Stein supporters in Wisconsin. Jill Stein got 35,000 votes in Wisconsin. If those 35,000 votes would have gone to Hillary Clinton, we would have carried Wisconsin.
That's what I'm saying. Couldn't 35,000 people in California have voted Green to give them her national number and yet not?
Well,
Surely a Green person doesn't want to see Donald Trump as president.
actually, they can be quite irrational sometimes.
Yeah, very.
They are purists. And when you point out that, all right, Hillary Clinton might not be the perfect candidate, but she's a hell of a lot better than Donald Trump, they don't listen to that. You know,
But
they're the purists.
Could it not be?
It happened to me with the state, with a county convention, was I had an argument with a woman, young woman. She's probably in her 30s, and she was not gonna vote for Clinton if she got the nomination, and I had a big argument with her.
Yeah.
You know, we were over there in the Bernie Sanders, because that's where I was, you know, part of those delegates, and that was the argument I had with her.
There was a lot of that, I think.
Yeah, and
Yes.
they really are irrational.
So-
I didn't remember.
I think with that though, I think, if I can follow up a little bit, and I think you hit it to it, is how do we get that, once that candidate has been chosen, regardless if it was my candidate or your candidate, how do we get that divided nature? Because we saw it. We saw it with the Hillary Bernie supporters. We saw it in some of the local elections, especially here in Cowlitz County. You know, you either on one team or the other, and if that team didn't win, my God, either you're not gonna vote or you're gonna support the other candidate because that's the way it is. How do we get that shift? It's like, you know what? It's better than the alternative.
Well, I think first of all, you bring them into the fold. You bring them into meetings like this. If there are Bernie Sanders delegates that were out there before, get them signed up as PCOs. Get them, you know, they'll see that the issues are more important than one election. There's another election next year and another one after that. And you know, they'll come around. That's what's happened in the past, is they've become more dedicated to the party than to any particular candidate.
What I don't understand is how an independent or anybody else can run as a Democrat. Why they, you know, can't put their name as a D when they're running as a Democrat. I think that's got a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, it troubles
If
me.
you really want to be a Democrat, then you ought to be a Democrat, you know.
I get particularly irritated by the people who run as, quote, independent Democrats. what does that mean? That means nothing. In terms of the national level, we don't preclude anybody from saying they're a Democrat for the moment. And that's why we had a contested primary. Senator Sanders is running again as an independent for re-election to the Senate.
Yep.
He is not running as a Democrat. So, but we're a big tent. We take people in. You say you want to run on our party, we let you run. Maybe our rules are too loose, I don't know. In our state, it's really a problem because we don't have party registration. And we'll probably never have it. It's like a mortal sin to the legislators. They don't even want to talk about it. But we would be a lot better off with party registration because we would know where our voters are. We wouldn't have to spend thousands of dollars doing ID to figure out who's a Democrat.
With
Sure.
exception to those people that register as a Democrat, but only in name, or those that register as a Republican.
Well, you
but
can't
only in
register
name.
in this state as a
Yeah.
Democrat. The only time you can declare yourself to be a Democrat is at the caucus or in the presidential primary.
Right. Yeah. It's the only time it makes any difference.
Do you have any statistics about how the congressional elections went this year as far as total votes and
Sure.
Democrats to Republicans? I know a few years ago, I think
Sure.
Democrats got 1.3 million more votes, yet they didn't pick up any seats in the House.
I can tell you about the third congressional district. We have 421, or roughly 421,000 registered voters. And in the third congressional district, we had 313,000 and change actually vote. The split was 61.8% for Jamie Herrera Butler and 38.2% for Jimmy. We, in the third congressional district, this race, we lost in all 8 of the counties, the 8th being a partial Thurston County. In prior races in 2014, we did actually win some counties. I think Pacific was one of them, and probably Clark.
Well, that's before the lines were drawn, then he had to go to Thurston and Pacific.
Right, yeah.
But I think the bigger question is, did we win more votes nationally?
Nationally, yes.
Yeah, and I think the answer to that is yes. I don't know by how many.
I suppose it's easy to look up, but I
I
have.
think that we did win nationally, we just didn't bring the right places.
Right.
Donna?
Could you say something about the vote builder? And I'm not sure if DNC has a national vote builder or what.
Yeah, Vote Builder's a good thing. Vote Builder is actually a hangover from Howard Dean's era. So it used to be that every state party and every county party had to build their own voter file. But Vote Builder is actually our national database. So it's washed through the DNC. It's pushed out to the state parties who maintain it. I don't know if any of you work phone banks like I do or doorbelling, but I'm a big fan of Vote Builder. But I started doing this when you just got a list at the county office and started walking every door. I think Vote Builder is really good, and every PCO has access to Vote Builder. I think. I'm not,
Can't have access.
If they want to use it.
If they, yeah.
It's a great tool. And one of the things that the Republicans have done is outsmarted us on technology. They're way ahead. They know where their people are, and they know how to track them. And we need to get better at that in terms of turnout. Because we had a depressed turnout. But part of that is because in some of these states, these voter suppression laws, the voter ID, those kind of things, so there's certain people who can't get the right kind of ID. Or in Texas, where a state university ID wouldn't count, but a gun permit would count. As an acceptable ID, there's that kind of crazy. And they're shutting down early voting. I didn't used to be such a fan of vote by mail, but I've become more of a fan of vote by mail.
One last question back here. Yes.
It's a bit out of left field, but how far away are we from electronic voting?
That's kind of way out of my area of expertise, but it's certainly talked about. But you know, the elections in this country are controlled by the 50 secretaries of state. So the national party or the federal government doesn't really run elections. They're all run in our state by Kim Wyman in every state. So the Secretary of State and the state legislature makes those kind of decisions, whether to allow electronic voting.
Okay, we got, have one more question
Sorry.
back here.
One of the things that I was especially impressed with is that Donald Trump said that he was running for president of the United States, not president of the world. And I feel like all the presidents that we have had since Ronald Reagan in particular have been running for president of the world. That's a very serious thing, especially among Christian voters. We don't want a one-world dictatorship.
Yeah.
And until Democrats start thinking in those terms, that we are serious about our national sovereignty versus the financial system running the whole world, I think we're just in the same boat as the Republicans, and we really won't fare well.
Except, I guess, just to play the devil's advocate here, I think we had a good example this weekend of checks and balances. So an out-of-control person issues an executive order, and the judicial branch overturned that. That, to me, seemed pretty healthy. And I think that we'll see more of that. This guy is so out of control. But the truth of the matter is, our senators tonight are staying up all night to try to block this horrible person becoming Secretary of Education. But the truth of the matter is, we have 48 votes and they have 52. So, you know, it's tough for us to do something besides act out. That's why we have to get more seats.
And another thing is, it's Patty Murray, our own senator, is chairing that.
Okay, so let's give Ed a real. I think you set a really high bar for us to get the next speaker in.
Right.
If you've got ideas of people that can come and speak to us and we can have this sort of discussion, please reach any of us up at this table. This was excellent. Thank you.
We're going to try to do a speaker or something every other month. So let us know. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
I have 3 things. The first thing is, I'll leave my paper out with this turned over. Write your name and your email address if you want to go up to Lobby Day. It's going to be on for Planned Parenthood, and it's going to be on the 20th of February. And this is when the adults go up and lobby for Planned Parenthood. Some of us have already been up there on the Youth Day. Another thing is at our Longview Library, and I'm chairing the event this year, is every Tuesday, starting at 10 a.m., we have what we call curl up, and you curl up with a good book in our magazine room, and there's going to be a fire going in the fireplace, and you get a cookie, or you can have coffee, hot chocolate, or tea. And then last but not least, it's the Longview United Methodist Church, which is on 30th and Pacific Way. There is going to be an event, and it's Finding Our Voice, and it's the Portland Lesbian Choir. And the admission is either $5 or 2 cans of food. And we ask when you bring those cans of food, we'll go to fish. If you bring something that you've bought brand new, don't bring something outdated. So if you want to come back, and I've got one to give out, and one I'm going to try to get in the library thing. So that's something, I didn't put this together, but it was at our church.
When is that?
That is going to be February 18th at 4 p.m.
18?
Yeah, 18th at 4 p.m. Saturday.
Tomorrow night, Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz are going to be debating the Affordable Care Act on CNN. I think it's 6 and 9 both. So check your schedule.
Is that Van Jones?
That would be awesome.
Pardon?
Is it on Van Jones' show?
CNN.
Van Jones is the host of that, I think.
2 CNN people are
Oh,
sponsoring it.
Sean?
Two things. First of all, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock in the county commissioner's room. They're on phase 2 of going over their county comp plan. They've been working on this for 6 years. I think they're on to the 7th year, whatever. They're just finalizing it, asking for feedback. But there is a core group from another party who I think wants to like rewrite it or toss it out or whatever it is. But one of our county commissioners said we're not gonna recreate the wheel. We're not gonna do it over. But tomorrow night is about basically the environmental piece of our county comprehensive plan. The other thing is Wednesday, there'll be a bunch of us union members going up to Olympia. The state right to work, which for those of you who don't know, basically means freeloaders. I, as a union rep, would have to represent a non-member at negotiations, if they have a grievance, whatever, and they don't have to pay dues, the others have to pay dues. So 28 states are already right to work. I just don't want Washington to go right to work before everybody goes right to work. So it's like we're fighting a battle here, but I also know you're right. A year ago when the Supreme Court justice died, we kind of like took a breath because it was supposed to happen then. So we know it's gonna happen, and it's gonna hit our public sector unions, and which has split it kind of our private sector and public sector unions too, because I've reached out to some of them and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, okay, well, all the state, county employees talk to them. Anyway, Wednesday, 1:30, there's a hearing in Olympia about the state right to work. And today it was about whether or not we should bargain in public for the Freedom Foundation to come and harass us while we're bargaining. They want to privatize everything. There's just a lot of anti-labor, not just anti-union stuff going on, and I put it on the page. We have our call to action. But you're right, every day we wake up and it's like, oh my God, how many things can I put on call to action, which are all urgent before Twyla says that's enough, Sean. But there are that many things happening at the same time. So, and with the education secretary nomination, it's frightening too, because I represent K-12, SEIU 925 does. So how that will impact all of our K-12 schools is frightening. So that's my labor report.
Mm-hmm. Anything else for the good of the order, David?
In the past, you've had time for candidates and for elected officials. Are you going to continue doing that, or what's your plan?
During regular election cycle.
So the answer is no?
Yes. No.
Pardon me?
Yes. No.
Well, we do have elected officials reports normally. We shortened things up quite substantially tonight because we're just.
After filing, we may, or when?
I'd have to take that to my word for sure.
Okay.
But it's never come up before that I know of this early in the year, so.
Okay.
This filing is taking place. There are 3 candidates that have filed now, myself being the first. And from my own perspective, I think we're kind of at the beginning of the cycle. Very beginning. But
We'll take a look at it.
of course,
In the state.
not with the Secretary of State, but with the Federal Elections Commission.
Have you talked to the DCC?
I did yesterday.
And I don't want to say too, but we realize we're going to have local races, and we want to make sure that everybody has the time to come through. We're going to have this race and others, and we're in February, And we're gonna try to balance it, I think, with our, whether we have a guest speaker or something, and making sure that everybody has time.
Yeah.
Just merely a question.
Yeah.
You'll have better luck on the months that we don't have a speaker.
Yeah.
Much better.
So
I
that-
saw another hand somewhere.
Oh, I'm just gonna do the raffle.
Okay, let's
And,
raffle.
I'll do the raffle, and I'll let you know this item over here, Lori brought it. So thank her, and then I have 2 pins, one has a pair of scissors and some stuff with it, and the other one has a stylus with it. And the first one is 663.
That's wrong.
Okay, pick out your item. There's this one or one of the pins. Thank you, Richard.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll let Richard get his, and I want the tickets back at the end of this. And I have 692. Pins are over there.
There's two notes. 662.
692, you get to pick out, when Richard gets done, you get to pick out an item. Okay? So you go pick your item out.
I'm telling you why.
Hey, I just bought her one for Christmas, so that's why.
Good.
And the last one is 712. Okay, is that yours now? Okay, 712. Is that not one? Okay, so I'll do the next one, 681.
712 right here.
712?
Yeah.
She gets the last item.